Hello, and welcome to this Galactic Collaboration Summit session. I'm thrilled to be here and talk about the Microsoft 365 opportunities for the partner ecosystem. My name is Vesa Juvonen. I'm a Principal Program Manager from the OneDrive SharePoint platform team, responsible of the ecosystem messaging related on SharePoint development topics. And more, we actually talk about also the cross Microsoft 365 platform ecosystem topics as well, because it's not just about the individual applications or individual services. We built these extensibilities and options and opportunities for our partners across the whole of Microsoft 365 platform. Now, in this session, for the next 30 minutes, we're going to talk about the platform opportunities for the partner ecosystem as mentioned. And this is really around getting you to the messaging and getting you the insights on the Microsoft way of thinking, where we are investing and where the Microsoft partner ecosystem can extend the services which are available in the Microsoft 365 platform. Now, before we go to the actual details and technical nuances and one demo as well, let's actually start with a small quick note or a quick quote from our CEO, Satya Nadella. And this really kind of explains the thinking what we have in Microsoft related on the platform and related on capabilities which we are building, because and the quote goes obviously that you join here not to be cool, to make others cool. So we want to actually build you a platform where you can actually be cool. You are the partner, you are the developer who actually then increases the productivity of the employees or makes the employees more productive and makes their life easier as well, which is especially important in the current times in the world. Now, if we think about our, let's say, the cloud and the ecosystem, what we have, or an approach what we have, is that we have a platform which enables us to have an intelligent cloud. And this is a platform has existed for a while, and it's evolving faster and faster, and there's a new and awesome capabilities available across the whole stack all the time. Everything is built on a trust and a security. So everything what we do here is basically the trust and security is one of our primary objectives within the cloud, so we can actually gain the trust of our customers and our partners. Everything is also built under the Azure platform or the Azure infrastructure, which enables you also as a third-party developer or a partner to take advantage of the intelligent cloud capabilities. And then we have the Microsoft 365 and the Dynamics 365, which are built on top of the Azure infrastructure. And also we have also then the GitHub and the Power Platform tools, which you as a developer or a partner can take advantage as well. And those really make sure that the extensibility and development of this cloud is as easy as possible. Now, if we start with those tools and that functionality first, we have the GitHub, Azure, and Visual Studio, which enables you as a partner or as a developer to build those solutions for your customers. So this is really the building blocks to make you productive, making it easy for you to extend those services. Or if you prefer, you can not just extend, you can actually build your solutions in Azure as an individual service as well, and then surface that in our Microsoft 365 platform. Now, what's really cool is also the new what we're seeing around the Power Platform capabilities. So Power Platform is gaining more and more usage for enabling normal users to actually build extensibility in the Microsoft 365. So extending the Microsoft Teams, extending the other areas extending the SharePoint lists and libraries and functionalities within the Microsoft 365. But that's not just for the Power users. So if you are a partner, if you are a developer, you can actually provide those extensibility bits and pieces for the Power users to take advantage. So you'll enable the Power users to actually build those capabilities more efficiently. Now, the Power Platform, as mentioned, is not just for the Power users, it's also for the developers as an opportunity to extend what's available in the Power Apps by default. So you can introduce new connectors and controls, Power BI or Power Automate. You can actually implement new capabilities there as well. And then Power Virtual Agents is the fourth option in the Power Platform side. Now, like mentioned in the quick intro, when I'm walking through the basic stack of the Microsoft Cloud, the Azure is the fundamental base in here. We have now 61 data centers across the world, and you can choose where your components are being hosted, or potentially even hosted in every single one of them, depending obviously on the load. It really gives you the unique unlimited cloud capabilities and with the Azure infrastructure. So you can decide the level of let's say, power you want to consume from the Azure. And you do not have to run any computers by yourself, because you can take advantage of the Azure infrastructure to be the host of your solutions. There's the Azure Data Platform with an unlimited storage capabilities and different set of storage options for you to take advantage from SQL, Azure, and the other data options which been there for a while as well. And then we have the Azure Artificial Intelligence services, the machine learning services, which we also take advantage more and more in the Microsoft 365, like in the forms of Project Cortex. So really taking advantage of that machine learning and automation and increasing the productivity of your end users. And you can take advantage of all of those things by yourself as a partner in your extensibility, and then enhance once again what's available from the first party capabilities in the Microsoft 365 cloud. Now, if concentrate on the Microsoft 365 cloud platform, that's really the people-centric platform, which can be used in any device. We really want to have a unified API layer, which is the Microsoft Graph, and more you can actually see all of the different services providing a completely unified API surface. So you'll know as a developer how to get access on the data and what data is available across the platform. And that's a pretty unique capability, actually, considering the different services what we actually have available in Microsoft 365 and the level of the scale of different APIs. It's a massive group of APIs around the Microsoft 365. Now, on top of the Microsoft Graph APIs, we also have the Fluid Framework, which enables you to actually build a collaborative controls and collaborative solutions. So you have that almost real-time collaborative functionalities available, which you can take advantage within your extensibility as well. The Fluid Framework is also open source, so you can contribute on that one and help us to improve that capability even more in the future. What's really cool about the Microsoft 365 is also that it's available across all of the devices, as mentioned. So it doesn't matter if you're using a Windows or a Mac or a Android, you can access all of the different services efficiently, and there's a web client available for all of the services as well. And really the hub of the Microsoft 365 or the capabilities is then the Microsoft Teams and the Office. So Office clients being the capabilities of building those documents together with your team members, and then Microsoft Teams as the hub of accessing information and services which are available in the Microsoft 365. So now, if we talk about that one even more, so let's concentrate slightly more on the Microsoft Teams, which is the hub of teamwork in Microsoft 365. So really, it's intended to be the UX layer where you can access all of the relevant data. Is it your documents? Is it your discussions? Is it your chats? Is it your team members or people organizations or even your LOB applications? And that is really the partner opportunity. So we have a lot of partners available or already submitted their applications to be available in the Microsoft Teams platform. And so we have already more than 500 external applications available, and more actually are coming all the time. And this is also because there's a lot of partners who are now actually transforming their existing, for example, SharePoint Online applications to be working within the Microsoft Teams, which is a great opportunity and one of the options absolutely as well. So why would you actually build for Microsoft Teams? So what's with the opportunity? What is actually the opportunity in the Microsoft Teams on top of the other services which are available in Microsoft 365? So we do have 250 million active Office 365 users in the cloud. We have more than 500,000 companies which are using Microsoft Teams across the world. And 91% of the Fortune 100 companies are using Microsoft Teams as well. And the This is a huge opportunity. So there is more than 150 organizations which have more than 10,000 or more active Teams users. So really these are the people who are using the Teams to do collaboration, meetings, discussions, and chats. And there's such a tremendous amount of opportunities on different ways of extending the Microsoft Teams platform as well. We really do have multiple ways of actually integrating with the Microsoft Teams UX, and really the benefit out of this one is the fact that people are anyway spending most of their time in the Microsoft Teams. So rather than forcing them to move away from their collaboration and collaborative UX, you can actually surface your application and services inside of that UX. So either exposing your application, your services inside of the UX, or then increasing the productivity of these people, which is then justifies the investment to your solution, whatever your company is actually offering. So we do have the notification platform obviously here, and they drive action and timely responses. So you can basically send notification across the people, and your bots potentially can interact as part of the discussions. You can build your custom tabs, which are providing then a team-focused UX for accessing the information and building stuff together and collaborating directly in the Microsoft Teams. There's a rich cards enable smart sharing from chat and channel, so you can easily access information from multiple different sources. You can actually build bots, which is absolutely a growing theme and getting more and more investments behind of the scenes in the Microsoft side as well. You can also build personal apps which provide a control center overall views on the personal information, and this is something which is being exposed in a slightly different way as the tabs, but they do take advantage of the similar extensibility and similar implementation. Also behind of the scenes, there's the Graph API, which is powering everything, so you can actually access all of the Graph APIs, or you can align or manipulate the Microsoft Teams API, the Teams settings and configurations using the Graph APIs as well. So there's the teams and channels and all of those capabilities behind of the scenes, all the files behind of an individual team, which is available for you to take advantage. And then we do have the Power Apps and SharePoint Framework to bridge the existing solutions across the platforms. And both of these are really, really cool. So Power Platform obviously is a Power user-based approach, which you can extend to provide your own components on the Power Platform. And then SharePoint Framework has existed already a few years, so 4 years, and it's really the easiest way to extend the SharePoint Online and Microsoft Teams using the industry standard web stack development technologies. So using TypeScript and Angular and React and all of that really easily. And then the same implementation and same component can be hosted either in SharePoint Online or in the Microsoft Teams. So without any code changes, which is really, really cool. Now, when we are building things in the Microsoft Teams, you do have multiple different options. You do have multiple different interfaces which you can take advantage. You can take advantage of multiple different backends or the Microsoft 365 services behind of the scenes. So basically from an interface perspective, you can build those tabs, you can build the bots, adaptive cards, messaging extensions, text modules, and notifications, and personal applications as well as an example. Then the backend, which is actually hosting your implementation, or the backend which is serving the information for your solution, and then it's going to be the Azure as the hosting platform as an example. If you build your solution as a web application, if you can use the Microsoft Graph to get access on the persona-based or personalized APIs, which get access, for example, the latest emails and tasks and all of those kind of information, or to-do tasks, which are a relatively new thing in the Graph side. You can use the SharePoint to store its files and assets and information, because behind of every single team, there's actually a SharePoint storage and SharePoint functionalities, but it's also an extensibility platform. So SharePoint Framework, which is being used by the SharePoint engineering to expose and build the modern SharePoint Online experiences, is available for you to take advantage as well. And that's been a tremendously successful platform within the past years. There's the Power App platform, which you can take advantage as well and surface information, Power Automate to really automate information, making people more productive through that options, and then the connectors and webhooks to understand what's happening inside of the team channels or inside the team's activities. And then obviously across the Microsoft 365 stack, you can take advantage of all of those different APIs, different functionalities, surface them partly within your solution, or taking advantage of the information which is available, for example, in the SharePoint side for you to actually reach into. Now, because I'm from the SharePoint SharePoint organization side, obviously SharePoint Framework has been really, really close to my heart. And that's something which has existed already for 4 years, and it's still growing at the rate of 125% usage within the past year. So it is really tremendous. It's really, really successful, and the usage is still growing on a week-to-week basis. We already have 14 different major SharePoint Framework updates since the GA, and initially we really targeted the SharePoint Framework on the modern SharePoint capabilities, so really building portals and extensibility on the SharePoint Online. But now, since the release, the Microsoft Teams, we've been focusing more and more on the Microsoft Teams side. You can nowadays use the SharePoint Framework also to build custom tabs and personal applications, and quite a new thing, or coming pretty soon, is the task modules, which is available also for you to take advantage. So using the SharePoint Framework as the UX layer of your extensibility in the Microsoft Teams. And now if you still build bots and whatever backend systems or integrations, you would still use an Azure for those capabilities. But really the SharePoint Framework would give you the opportunity of implementing the UX layer, and the same UX layer actually works in both sides. So it works in the SharePoint and it works in the Microsoft Teams, and you don't have to re-implement anything because the same component works as such in both sides, which is really, really cool. Now, just to demonstrate that quickly as part of the journey, let's actually walk through an example extensibility, how we have used SharePoint Framework to extend Microsoft Teams with the platform capabilities which we have. So we're going to use bots, we're going to use adaptive cards, we're going to use Microsoft Graph APIs and a SharePoint Framework to build a personal application and a channel and a task module. So let's have a look on this one and get back on the slides after that. Good, so let's actually get started on the demo. And like mentioned in the intro as well, we kind of use the SharePoint Framework-based implementation in here. You can actually obviously extend the Microsoft Teams or SharePoint Online using your existing website as well. And that's the alternative way of doing things. You would bundle that website or SaaS service as a application, and you can surface that in the Microsoft Teams and also in the SharePoint side. But we're going to start with the SharePoint Framework, which has been highly successful as an extensibility platform across the Microsoft 365 as well, and we'll keep on obviously supporting that in the future in the SharePoint and Teams as well. Now, I'm just going to use the sample site, which, by the way, if you're looking into doing example demos and example sites, you can always use the SharePoint Lookbook, where we have multiple different designs available for you to provision, and these are awesome for the demo purposes. So some example content to be available. Now, in my case, I'm just going to create a new page first, and we're going to have a look on the SharePoint experience. And in this case, let's create a blank page. Something, and let's call it just a test, and let's get rid of the text web part from there and add here, let's close that one and add here our leads web part. So obviously you've probably seen this in the past as well, the web parts, leads web part on modern SharePoint. We're using SharePoint Framework, modern development platform using industry standard TypeScript, and you can, the actual implementation then can be in JavaScript or in React or in Angular and so on, so it doesn't really matter. And there's a multiple on-premises, open source projects available out there for improving this process. So this particular web part is pretty cool. It actually connects to the Azure functions securely and then surfaces leads from the leads management system, which could be potentially even from on-premises. So you're using the secured way of connecting to the Azure and then surfacing that information. What we also did with this web part, we've been evolving this as a sample which demonstrate different capabilities across the Microsoft 365 is that you can actually create reminders. So in this case, I'm going to create reminders for the DG 1000 for 28th of May and create a reminder. And this is actually going to use Microsoft Graph to create a reminder for me, in this case, to my planner. Now, pretty recently we released Microsoft Graph APIs also for to-do side, so you can actually create tasks to your to-do as well, which is actually insanely cool that you have that centralized storage for your tasks, which you can then access and manage across any of the applications in Microsoft 365. Let me close that. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And the SharePoint side of the house, it's kind of understandable. The same implementation, it can be also an application page. So I'm going to actually surface the same actually TypeScript implementation as an application page. Let's call this app page. And the difference is really the fact that it takes the full page. So you have a full page, you can do a custom layout, you can do whatever you want based on the implementation. And also the implementation of the panel works here completely seamlessly. Now, taking the same panel, put it in Microsoft Teams, is just a matter of targeting Microsoft Teams. So you can easily then add a new tab based on the Leads implementation, which in this case is exactly the same implementation, and we can configure that in the Microsoft Teams in exactly the same way. And so we have the panel available. We can modify and do filtering and do different options, close the panel, and we can actually access the information, again, using the SharePoint as the hosting mechanism. So you don't have to worry about where this code is being hosted. You don't have to worry about deployment. You don't have to worry about CDN, or everything is automatically CDN as well, so it's optimized for the delivery. And of course, you can create those additional tasks here as well. Let's create another one for the DG 1000, let's say for next week, and create a reminder. And the same Microsoft Graph APIs is consistent. You can actually create those tasks. You can create whatever you want using Microsoft Graph, well, almost whatever you want using the Microsoft Graph APIs. That's pretty cool as well. Now, obviously the same implementation can be surfaced in multiple other ways as well. So you can actually surface this implementation also as a personal application. So you can use the SharePoint framework really to build a complex personal application which have multiple views, even the chat, if you use a bot and integrate bot on it. So multiple different views to the data, required attention, and then settings and configuration of the functionality of the personal application from a personal perspective, looking into this data. And then we can actually have a chat here as well. But this is a personal application. And again, same piece of code, just exposed slightly differently using the personal application look and feel. You're basically taking over the whole UI, and then you can have multiple tabs available, and definitely doable with SharePoint Framework super easily as well. Again, same piece of code, just resurfacing that in multiple locations. Now, what we can also do here, let's actually, by the way, let's double check that this is working properly. So let's do a ZT1000. Let's create a reminder using, again, Microsoft Graph for tomorrow, ZT1000, 27th of May. Let's close that one. And if we now go to the planner from my left menu, because I pinned this one on the left menu, we can actually see that those tasks have been created in planner. Again, would you create tasks to the planner or to your to-do? Depends on your application design. Now that the to-do APIs are also available through Microsoft Graph, so stuff is evolving all the time. Now, what's really cool about this setup is also that we can do messaging our task modules as well. And those modules are those which are being exposed in the discussions. So basically, I can now spin up a task module from the discussion and in the post of the channel, and I can basically then start a discussion, for example, about the game controller 3300. And we're using a bot behind of the scenes, then push out a label, which is using adaptive cards to getting that information available in here. So you would be able to then start a discussion related on this lead, etc. And the adaptive cards can actually have actionable buttons and all of that stuff as well. So really kind of tying in again the different technologies together. Behind of the scenes, if you're interested on this particular implementation, we're not going to deep dive here, but this is basically using a bot implementation, which is actually using have been created using using the Yo themes, which actually generates you a TypeScript wrapper or TypeScript demos. And then in the case of actually pushing out the results, we're using adaptive cards. So let me actually zoom in slightly the logo. And we're in this particular case, which is pretty cool, I'm actually running this directly from my local host, even though I'm actually surfacing stuff in the Microsoft Teams or in SharePoint Online, because I'm just easier way of debugging. Just as well, I could deploy my stuff there as well. But basically, we are using adaptive cards for pushing that back then to the channel from the bot, which was created using the Yo team. So pretty cool setup, and actually surprisingly easy to set up as well. Now, the actual web part itself is also available, and in this case I'm again running that from locally. Again, I can do debugging more efficiently. In this particular case, the actual Leads web part has been set to be available as a Teams tab, SharePoint full page, Teams personal application, and SharePoint web part. And then using the manifest which has been created for this particular implementation, we are also surfacing that as a task module. And there's a specific definition, specific configuration, how to make those things actually happen. But it's pretty cool that you can actually take advantage of the task hosted ASPX page, which is then exposing or understanding the context of the task module and being able to expose the same implementation inside of the task module UX as well. Excellent. So that was a relatively quick demo, and like I said, we concentrated on the SharePoint Framework model, but you can absolutely also, if you prefer to implement and host your application by yourself, you can create an Azure web application and host and host that inside of the Microsoft Teams as well. Really, the power of the SharePoint Framework is that you do not have to worry about the hosting, deployment, and optimization, because the SharePoint Framework is being hosted by SharePoint. It's being deployed using the app catalog capabilities to Microsoft Teams, and it's optimized with an Office 365 CDN. So it's really a cheapest way of starting or implementing your extensibility, and the same implementation works in both sides. So you can actually expose the same UX in the Microsoft Teams as a web part, or in the SharePoint Online as a web part, or in the Microsoft Teams as a channel tab or as a personal application. And that's really the core benefit out of using SharePoint Framework. But again, matter of preference and depending on a use case. If you're an ISV who has an existing website and you need to surface that or some of the capabilities in Microsoft Teams, then maybe it doesn't make any sense to implement your extensibility using SharePoint Framework. So there's always advantages and disadvantages in all of these things. So try to make the right decision based on the information which you have. Now, if you are interested on learning more about extensibility in the Microsoft 365, we have a really active community, which is Microsoft 365 Patterns and Practices, AKMS M365 BMP. There's multiple different open source projects in here, which we're executing together with our MVPs, and we're focusing more and more also on the Microsoft Teams side. Now, this program has existed with a few different names in the past as well for quite a long time, and we have already more than 500 samples available for you to take advantage with more than 1,300 contributors. It was also awarded back in 2019, the reference solution model, how to take advantage of the community and how to build open source engagement together with communities. So really great award to achieve as well. Now, we do have more than 80,000 visitors in the GitHub organizations in the past 2 weeks, more than 42,000 tenants using open source components like the BMP PowerShell or the site's core, the OS 365 CLI in every single month. And the YouTube channel has been watched more than 2.8 million watch time minutes within the last 365 days. So we seem to be producing quite a nice set of guidance, which is available for you to take advantage for free. Now, take advantage of that one. AKMS M365 BMP is the URL. But that's all we're going to do in this quick recap or a quick summary on the partner ecosystem. Hopefully you got excited on what's available there and how we are thinking the options and opportunities how to extend the Microsoft 365 platform. If you have any questions for me, please reach me out at Twitter at Vesa Juvonen is the tag in Twitter, or then you can use our Microsoft 365 Patterns and Practices channels in GitHub and in other areas to reach out, and I will try to get back to you as fast as possible. But thank you for this one. Please do give us feedback related on your needs and your information, what is available, so we're able to address those. Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of the Galactic Collaboration Summit. Join the community and meet in-person world-class Microsoft and MVP speakers this autumn in Wiesbaden, Frankfurt, Germany, with 15 full-day tutorials and over 150 Microsoft 365 and Azure sessions at the combined European Collaboration Summit and European Cloud Summit from 26 to 28 October 2020. Community rocks.